For myself, I remember a few years ago, you know, I got an IAM male, and I didn't feel that comfortable with that one myself. Whereas the IAM Universal, I very seldom take it off, so to speak. It just feels so nice. But the IAM male, and I have another friend, and he borrowed my IAM male, and it didn't suit him either. And he felt he's quite a gentle soul, and he felt it was making him a little bit more aggressive than what he wanted to be. And he actually did buy an IAM Universal, and he likes that one as well. So you know, whether other people have experienced that some things suit, you know, different frequencies suit different people.
I just wanted to follow on from what Owen was when he was talking about the different frequencies, and what I have found and experienced when both myself or clients have worn those, say the IAM female, IAM male or whatever, that it can create a discomfort that you may not like. And I remember mentioning this to Thrity. You have to sit with the discomfort to understand what it's actually asking of you. And I find the IAM, when I wore the IAM female frequency, I found it made me very argumentative. And I remember saying this to Thrity, and Thrity said to me, well, did what needed to be said, was that been said? And it actually wasn't. You know, it made me look at it differently and think of it differently. So for me, the IAM female both has given women a voice. That's why it's good, supposed to attend a practitioner when you're experiencing things, but it's given women a voice to be able to speak up or say what is on their mind in a loving way. But there is a discomfort when they're not used to expressing themselves. There's a discomfort with it. And it's also done the opposite. It has got women to shut up. You know, they're voicing their opinions too much, and it's having an impact on the people around them. So they need to step back. So it has worked with both, but there can be a discomfort. And sometimes you wear a frequency, like I love the female exam frequency. I just feel so comfortable. I just love, it's me on a very good day is the way I describe it. But I have had discomfort with others. And when you ask the question, you know, what's going on here? You know, what is this discomfort about? That's where the real, it's like going outside your comfort zone temporarily. Why am I uncomfortable here? And sit with it. And anyway, that's just what I wanted to add to what Owen is saying there.
Thanks, Yuri.
That's a very important observation. And several people want, you know, they don't like, as Owen mentioned, they don't like wearing the male frequency or the female frequency. But please remember, the female frequency and the male frequency are signatures of coherence. So it is what it is as it should be. And so if you are uncomfortable with it, you need to see why, as Elaine has mentioned. And if you stay with it, you will find another place in yourself, which is very different. But when we put it on the website, we can't say those things. So people just, you know, may return them or say, no, that doesn't work for me. You know, it always works. It's you that needs to change.
Yeah.
And so for, you know, or if somebody is very comfortable, as Owen suggested, very comfortable with the universal frequency, one more thing that you can do is wear both of them together, the universal and the IAM. Though they are very different in what they do, if you use both of them together, you might find that it's much more comfortable to use the IAM. But a lot of males can be very gentle, and they may find the male frequency making them aggressive. It's not making, it's just revealing parts of yourself that you don't want to see. And it's good to see those parts, and come to terms with those parts and do a clearing with that. So do a clearing with the frequency itself and see what happens. I hope that's sufficient. I hope that's reasonably clear. And is Caroline there? Caroline, can you raise your hand?
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Caroline.
Yeah, I have a request to make of you. Jane Cook has also raised her hand, so Jane will come back to you very shortly. Caroline, you use the male frequency in a very particular way. Would you be happy to share that?
Yeah, of course, the male frequency.
Yes.
Yeah.
For women, this is for women using the male frequency, because that's a question that comes up. Can women use the male frequency? Can males use the female frequency? So please.
Yes. Okay. So this was a few years ago when I was recently separated from my husband, and I was in deep grief and couldn't stop crying and was missing him, missing that male presence in my life. And after speaking with Meher, it was suggested for me to sort of carry the male frequency. And it was really dramatic. That sort of first day, straight away, I was just calmer. The crying was less, and I carried it for about a day or so, and then just things stabilized, and I didn't then need to carry it anymore. But it was very significant, that shift. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and many, many years ago, I had this young Hasidic Jewish client, and he had lost his mother, and he had a stepmother who he didn't like. So at that time, we used to do the imaging, and when we imaged him with the female frequency, put the frequency in front of his feet and did the imaging, he became very incoherent. And so we gave him the female frequency to wear, which is not something that we would normally do for a male. And yet his relationship with his stepmother and his improved dramatically in the space of just a couple of weeks. So sometimes you wear the opposite frequency, but in general, the males wear the male and the females wear the female. I think, Lotta, you had, I think, one of your clients who wore the male frequency when she had difficulty with some workers, didn't she?
Yes, I have two examples. One was an old man who lost his wife and had difficulties to sleep. And he had that difficulties for many months. And his daughter contacted me and asked me if I could do anything. And what he did was he came seeing me, and we did a clearing and some other stuff. And then when he was just about to leave, he saw that I was wearing a female frequency. And I don't know why, but I gave it to him, and I said to him that you can borrow it and put it under your pillow. And he said, "What's this?" And I said, "Don't ask that much, just do it." So he went home and put it on under his pillow. And he called me the next day, and he had slept all night. So he wanted his own. He had been missing his wife and had difficulties to sleep because of that. But it was like he was having his wife next to him in bed, he said, when he put the female frequency under the pillow. So that was very, very interesting, because I was taught not to put a female on a male and vice versa in the beginning. And it worked. And then I had the father and the son, if you remember them, when you were visiting me, Thrity.
Mm-hmm.
They both missed, were divorced. So the son missed his mother, and the father missed the wife because she'd moved out. And he bought a female frequency to put in the kitchen lamp. So he hanged the female frequency in the kitchen. And he said that it felt much more convenient and cozy. And when people came visiting them, they thought that they had changed a lot, having flowers on the table and a basket with fruits, which was according to them, more female way of taking care of your home and so on. They shifted the curtains, and they felt good. So they had that female frequency hanging in the kitchen lamp and doing its work. And I also had a client who is a very small girl. You remember Mrs. Fireson, I guess. And they were doing a lot of garden work with having help from men who were building something, doing a construction. And she told them, I want you to do it this way or that way. And they always did the opposite. And then she was so furious. So she took her husband's male frequency. She went out into the garden and she pointed with her whole hand. And she said, do it like this and do it like that. And then she went away. And when she came back, they did what she told them. So she actually said that she needed the male frequency to get in contact with these very male workers. So it worked for her.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the female and male discussion that I wanted to say that I found it really hard to wear the female frequency at the beginning. And so I did wear it together with the universal one. And then I shifted to the female interview one, and I had no problem with that one. And then eventually I went on to the female one, and it was fine. But at the beginning, it was really, I was really uncomfortable with it. I had like shivers down my spine. I just couldn't hold it. So it was a strong reaction. And then little by little, I got close to it with the other ones. And also, I wanted to say that I think, just my personal opinion, that I think that psychologically, the male and the female energies are really manipulated, you know, in society in general. And
absolutely.
yeah, and what we think they are is very different to what they actually are in nature. And you know, for me, for example, it was it had some connotations that then later I realized that had nothing to do with reality. So it was good for me to get close to them slowly. And also, I strongly believe that each person has a female side and a male side. Obviously, the side that, you know, energy-wise, and obviously the side that you materialize as is stronger. But it doesn't mean that the other side is not there. And unfortunately, in society, very often we are guided to give responsibility for our other gender side to another person, like a partner. So a lot of women give responsibility of their male side to their partner and vice versa. So I think that also plays a part in how we make ourselves coherent, having both sides and knowing which sides is stronger in ourselves as one person.
Yeah.
And last thing is that I think that all of these things, like the male energy, the female energy, they are like a toolkit that we have and that we can use in different situations whenever we need them. So if we get our field familiar with all of them and what place they have in our person, so as in, you know, which means getting the field coherent, then we'll be able to use each one of them whenever the situation, you know, calls for it.
That's exactly right. Because when we did the imaging, it's when you become neutral that you can, there's a huge amount of acceptance involved in that. And that gives you a lot more options.
Yeah, because I used to have, I realized that as I was doing all of these changes and trying the different frequencies, the female and the male, I realized that I had a very, whenever there was conflict, I would always bring out my male side, aggressive and, you know, really head to head. And that works in certain situations, but it doesn't work in others. So it was good for me to have the female assertive side as well. that helped me in other situations. And the same with pacifying situations. It's very different to pacify situations with the female energy or with the male energy.
It's called appropriateness. Optimum and appropriate response is what we're looking for.
Meher, I have a question. You said that when you wear IAM Universe, this gives you balance between female and male?
Well, no, that's not quite what I said. What I said was it contains both the IAM male and female frequency.
But I'm asking, yeah.
But basically, I would describe the difference between the IAM male or female as being reinforcing me or you or any of us in our own individual frequency. So it's a bit like, you know, you identifying with yourself as the drop in the ocean. And the IAM Universal is where you are literally, you know, you experience yourself as the ocean.
Okay.
So it's that going beyond the personal into the transpersonal. And how can I put it? It's like Sandra, who's our practitioner and webmaster, you know, she described it so beautifully once. She said, you know, when she was in a challenging situation, when she wore the IAM Female, she felt like it was a shield and that it really strengthened her and protected her. And then when she was in the similar challenging situation at a future date, she was wearing the IAM Universal. She said, I didn't feel at all impacted, but it wasn't that I needed a shield. It was just like I felt strong in myself. And it's like I didn't need a shield.
Okay, because I was thinking that when you're wearing, for example, I don't know if I need to wear female to make me more, you know, balance something, or maybe for some reason to wear male. But if wearing IAM Universe could without me thinking, could maybe rebalance what I need to be rebalanced.
It may indeed, it may do that. That's right. What's really important is for us to be really comfortable in our own individual frequency and be clearly anchored in there. In a way, you know, before sort of wanting to move more into the universal. It doesn't,
Okay.
I mean, for some people, the universal is great straight away. For other people, especially if we're not sure of ourselves, if we are slightly lacking in confidence, or we often, you know, can feel diminished by others, then I would say go to the IAM Female, or for men, the IAM Male. But because in a way we need to know ourselves and we need to have a healthy relationship with our ego before we can
go further,
go more into our essence where we are all one. So, and it's important that, you know, these two polarities are in balance within ourselves. So we have the male and female polarity, but we also have myself as ego and myself as essence. And it's important to have balance within that polarity as well. So, and as Mum's already mentioned, wearing the IAM Universal and the IAM Male or Female together is also a very lovely combination for some people. You know, you don't have to, but it can be really lovely to do that.
Okay, thank you.
So, the IAM Universal, in a way, it takes you beyond programming. Normally when we see people or we see a situation, there is an underlying program in what you see and how you see it, which is unconscious, subconscious, running from very deep places. With the universal, your view of the reality, it becomes different, and it goes beyond the programming to what Meher mentioned.
more as an observer, not as a participant in this experience something when you are.
It is active. The universal is there's nothing to do with active or inactive. It's always active. But the point is, it will shift your point of perception in a way that you can't see, but you will see everything through that filter, where you can't see the person, oh, this person is Chinese, or this person is black, or this person is gray, or whatever. However we see it, and the stories we make up kind of become brushed aside. So that is that is what we call the next evolutionary step for humans, to be a universal human.